It's just that I just try to utilize my offensive ability to the utmost.
I'll never forget Bill Fitch putting me in the game, and he says, you got to be real physical with Andrew. Bump him and body him, and don't let him catch the ball and make him work hard for everything he earns. So I said, all right. It took me about another year playing against Andrew to finally realize that I'm just going to talk to him and be nice to him and let him go wherever he wants on the court.
Andrew gained a well-warranted reputation as the Boston Strangler.
With the addition of Moses Malone in 1983, the Sixers finally had all the pieces in place for a championship.
Little Mo, Big Mo, the Doctor, Andrew Toney, and Ivoroni. No baloney. Sixers all the way.
Philadelphia swept past the Lakers in 4 straight games to win their first NBA title since 1967.
Hey, Mr. Toney, how did you feel when the buzzer went off and we had won the world?
The way I felt, I tell you, I didn't even know I had feet.
Those feet had helped Andrew Toney reach the pinnacle of the NBA. They would also become his downfall.
He started having problems with his feet, and they ended up being stress fractures. The thing about stress fractures is that once you start to get them, they can always recur. As he began to have more and more problems with his feet, his game started going down.
Physically, he couldn't do what he was accustomed to doing.
Andrew would play like 2 weeks, sit out 2 weeks, come back and play, have to sit out a month.
Toney became the subject of controversy when the Sixers management doubted the severity of his injury and claimed he had become a negative influence on the team.
That kind of hurt him a little bit, for people not to believe that he was hurt as he was.
After a while, it began to be such a drain on him physically and mentally.
By 1988, it had all become too much for Toney. He retired at the age of 30. A brilliant career was over prematurely.
That's kind of one of the sadder stories as I look back at the history of the NBA.
He wasn't around long enough for people to understand just how good he was.
I tell people, Andrew Toney got hurt, or he would have been the best player I played with.
He would have been a great scorer in any era with it.
Despite how his career ended, Andrew Toney says he doesn't dwell on what happened. He said he was just glad he had the opportunity to showcase his talent. And that talent certainly was admired by teammates and opponents alike. In fact, Larry Bird said Andrew was the best clutch shooter he had ever seen. In fact, one of the main reasons Boston acquired Dennis Johnson in 1983 was to defend against Andrew Toney. But he wasn't the only arch nemesis in the city of Boston. We'll have more on that after we look back to Andrew's rookie season of 1980. So let's take a little trip to Boston now, shall we? Virtually, at any rate, with the help of our trusty little computer. The city of Boston. Cultural and commercial center population, roughly 4 million. Folks in Boston love their politics, sports, and chowder, just to name a few. They certainly didn't love Andrew Toney, but he's just one of many who'd be banned in Boston if the citizens had their way. Of course, you have to begin with King George III, who ruled over the original 13 colonies. His tax on tea triggered the cry of taxation without representation, eventually led to the Boston Tea Party, which eventually led to a nasty little skirmish known as the Revolutionary War. Babe Ruth starred for the Red Sox until 1919. That's when owner Harry Frazee sold him to the Yankees to help finance a Broadway play, No No Nanette. But it was Ruth who was the real smash, and the Sox haven't won a series since. Can you say curse of the Bambino, boys and girls? It has to be a curse. Just look at 1978, Bucky Dent earning the wrath of Boston fans, a light-hitting shortstop homering over the Green Monster. helped the Yankees win a playoff for the pennant after they trailed the Sox by 14 games in August. Didn't even mention Bill Buckner here. Now, the folks in Beantown don't have anything against actor Tony Curtis, but he did star in the movie The Boston Strangler, playing the not-so-nice Albert DeSalvo. It's only a movie. He's not really a bad guy. Remember that cinema verite? The Bad News Bears go to Japan? Bostonians may love cod and lobster, but they're not particularly fond of tuna. Bill Parcells was a hero when he led the Patriots to the Super Bowl, became a traitor when he left the Patriots in '97, and signed up with the New York Jets. Bill Laimbeer was a villain everywhere, but especially in Boston after his scuffles with Robert Parrish in the playoffs. Celtic fans despised the Pistons back then, and they didn't exactly welcome the Lakers with open arms either.
As soon as we hit town, it was like the devil hitting town. You know, it's like, the devil is here. You know, I mean, the baggage guys at the airport. Oh, Magic, Larry's gonna kill you tomorrow. There's no magic here. This is Larry Bird town. And here come the guy with his sleeves rolled up, you know, got the cigarettes right there, and he come, Magic, Larry's gonna do you in. So you had to take all this abuse. And in Boston, I mean, you had to walk a long way. So everybody, the ice cream, the cookie person, everybody. And you know what? When we walked through the whole place, you know how airports, everybody talking? Silence. Here come the enemy. Here come the Lakers. Manny, Kareem. You know, everybody, I mean, it was incredible. I love coming in the Boston Garden and the old building, and you could just feel the crowd. I mean, everybody's sweating already. The game is still half hour away. Everybody's just sweating, just anticipating this game.
And the environment was never more hostile than it was in 1982. The Sixers stepped into the Lions' den with the Celtics for Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Few gave them much of a chance, but fortunately, the Sixers brought their Celtic killer, Andrew Toney, and we'll relive that game when we come back. In 1981, the Sixers blew a 3-1 lead to the Celtics and lost the Eastern Conference Finals. The next year, deja vu all over again. Philly led 3-1. Boston came back to tie it with Game 7 at Boston Garden. Everybody expected the Celtics to pull off the comeback one more time. All of which serves as the backdrop for this week's Airwave Archive. We pick up Game 7, first quarter. The announcers, Dick Stockton and Bill Russell.
Toney. Harris on top of the rim, grabs it, but it wasn't over the rim. Good rebound by Robert. Bird pulls up. He's been hot so far, so is Caldwell Jones. He has been totally vicious off the defensive glass. Irving beating Andrew Toney. Over Bird, gets the bucket. Good aggressive play by Andrew Toney, who now is hit 3 of 4. He had 39 points in one game, 30 in another against the Celtics after that horrendous game shooting. 1 for 11 Friday night. Bird. There's no question, Bill, as we have a loose ball foul, the Celtics want Bird to get off early.
Yes, he's taking those shots, and he's getting himself free to take them. So far, he's not shooting that well.
Foul is on Kevin McHale, his first, and team foul for Boston 3. Play call by Maurice Cheeks. He was third in the league in assists, second in steals, and leads both teams in those categories here. The basket, Toney, and a foul committed by the Celtics. Their fourth team foul, and this is on ML Carr. And getting off the bench to come in is Danny Ainge. Did not have a good shooting game Friday, but the former baseball player turned basketball performer hit a key basket late in the going when the Celtics needed it. Ainge forced to be the backup guard, or whether it's point guard or off guard, with Toney on the bench with an injury. Toney shooting. One shot. Philadelphia by 6. Make it 7.
They have taken control of this game so far.
7 straight points.
They start off a little slow, but they've taken control.
You know why? They're not letting the Celtics get second shots lately.
I think Caldwell Jones has been key.